What's up, Strikers? Welcome to another patch rundown, and boy do we have a lot of good stuff to get into. We got not one, but two new strikers, a mini rework for Asher, a new map, and more. So let's not waste any more time and get into all the details. First off, we have two new strikers in the Oni sisters, Vice and Octavia. And let's see, Vice. Thunderstruck, her secondary, summon a thunderbolt from the sky to a target location, hitting and stunning enemies for 0.75 seconds for the next 3.25 seconds, recast to assume a form of pure energy and teleport to the cast location. Her primary is Power Chord, launch a lightning rift, hitting and slowing the first target struck before chaining light hits to nearby opponents. And her ult is Supernova, push and hold this ability to start rocking out, gaining 100% knockback resistance upon releasing the ability, or after 2.5 seconds emit a shockwave that blasts enemies away from you. The wave increases in size and power for the first 1.25 seconds it's charged. And then there is Octavia. Her secondary is Flow State. Gain 25% speed for 2.75 seconds, increasing by 2.5% per second. Hitting anything refreshes the duration, scaling infinitely. That is not a typo, by the way. Sonic Boom is her primary. Launch a sonic wave that hits all targets it passes through and slows them for 1 second. Deals light hits to subsequent targets. And her ult is Bass Drop. After a delay, emit 5 sound pulses over a short duration that hit surrounding enemies. Alright, so I've played both Vice and Octavia. Let me start off by saying they are both super fun and enjoyable to play. Warping around the map as Vice and scoring flashy goals feels great, especially if you have Twin Drive. Her ult may take some getting used to, but I see plenty of potential in it. Octavia can become a speed demon. No pun intended. If you're able to keep her secondary speed boost going, and her ult is excellent at punishing enemy strikers too close to the edge of the map and for brute forcing goals. You really do not want to play tennis with an Octavia. Asher's kit was too oppressive at keeping the core forward, which made it very frustrating for opponents when trying to counter her core control. Removing her passive shield barrier and moving that to the duration of her primary ability, if she casts primary on her side of the field, her barrier will be larger and unbreakable. So they removed her passive from her strike, so her strike is just a strike. And her secondary, the most notable change is when she dashes, she now gets a buff that reduces incoming knockback by 30% and damage taken by 25% for 5 seconds. And they also made it so that if her stagger bar is empty, she doesn't gain the buff. So her primary now has her passive on it, and the barrier is larger and unbreakable if it's cast on her side of the field. She will not be as strong at simply running at the enemy goalie and piling all of her abilities on them with her passive barrier on each cast. Now that barrier is only under primary and it breaks on the enemy side of the field, but is larger and unbreakable on Asher's side of the field. This plus the 5-second knockback and damage reduction buff on her dash makes her pretty immovable with the right awakenings. Is that enough to make up for the offensive power that she lost? I mean, as a goalie, she should still be relatively the same overall, but we may need a bit more time to see if she's noticeably worse offensively. Right, next, we have Era. Maximum knockback angle to the cast direction, 90 degrees, lower to 60 degrees. So keep both the core and knockback players moving in the direction of the maelstrom instead of it being all funky. So basically, if Era ults to the right and you walk into it from above and to the right at a slight angle, then you won't get thrown directly upwards for some stupid reason. This also might help make her goals scored with her ult even better, since you're usually ulting at 45-degree angles toward the enemy goal and not directly up or down in the enemy goal. Okay, Juno. Bug fix. Bobos will now reset their overridden strike direction when Juno strikes the core. This should make it easier for Juno to set up some pass plays with the core. I'm honestly surprised she didn't receive another nerf. Instead, they made it so she can more easily pass to her Blobos. It's a good quality of life buff, all things considered, I suppose. Moving on to Rasmus. Bug fix to his primary. The head of his chain sickle now scales with increased size. Okay, now I had no idea his primary was supposed to scale with his size. This could be very intriguing and could unlock even more power for a striker that I already believe is very good. Definitely going to keep an eye on Rasmus after this fix. Alright, Rune. His primary now scales at a fixed rate instead of being slowed down by creation duration. And a bug fix that will knock back targets multiple times if they stay inside the anomaly. Then another one for his banish, his ult. Now banishes additional targets hit for the same amount of time as the first target. Sounds more like a buff than a bug fix, unless it was intended. Anyways, this is a great quality of life change that removes some unfortunate anti-synergy with creation awakenings and makes his primary an ability that opposing strikers really do not want to get stuck inside of. Then you get the ult fix that banishes every target affected by the full duration, and you end up with Rune feeling much better than in previous weeks. And then X. bug fix, quote unquote, base strike size, 350 diameter down to 270 diameter. A roughly 25% nerf to his base strike size? Okay, it's labeled a bug fix, but that's a pretty big drop off and honestly may strip X of more power than any of his previous nerfs. We have a new map called Demon Deus. This is honestly a great map. The field is a concert stage, and the goal gates are these decent-sized circles on both sides of the field with both an outer and inner circle. There is a nice short grace period after you hit the outer ring, so you don't have to worry about some ridiculous bounce taking your goal gates down in the blink of an eye. Also, when one goal gate goes down, there are speakers directly above in the middle and bottom of the field that will push back strikers and the core. Once the second layer is removed from a goal gate, then these speakers will become even more powerful with even more pushback. The speakers on the side of the map make for some unique core trajectories, and it just looks awesome. I honestly think this may already be my new favorite map. Autens City now spawns 6 orbs per wave instead of the standard 3. So for strikers who play quick play on the default map, this should spice things up a bit more and give it an identity. More orbs may help newer players so that they aren't getting bullied as hard. Overall, pretty nice change. Night Market. Speedgate now grants bonus to all units within its area when it's fully activated. So basically, if you or an ally or enemy are standing on the Speedgate waiting for the boost, then you will both receive the boost. Pretty straightforward. Then a small cleanup on Oni Village. Speed zones now better match the visuals and do not extend into the corners. Planetary. Some tutorial updates and bug fixes. Power orbs, healing, 20% of max stagger down to 7.5% to 30% based on current stagger. More healing when more damaged. So you heal quite a bit less with a fuller stagger bar and a bit more once you're below a certain threshold. I wouldn't call this a nerf or a buff as much as I would call it a rebalance. Orbs should be more valuable and sought after the lower your stagger bar is. They will still provide XP and energy, and you should still collect and deny them when you can. UI and other improvements. More striker info on lore page. Improved layout in lore book. Barriers now have a VFX on destruction. Quick little aside, I love the expanded striker info. They added each striker's height, birthday, and 3 things they like. My favorite has got to be Dubu's info saying that he likes breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which I totally empathize with him. So cosmetics. Odyssey has added 6 skins to the game. The 3 creator skins and 3 music skins. All of these skins look fantastic, and Odyssey will indeed be getting my money. Nintendo Switch, now playable at 60 FPS. Wow! A game that can run on a potato can finally run at 60 FPS on a modern-day gaming console. Okay, don't get me started on a Nintendo rant, or this video could drag on for an hour. We have new forward gear. Siphoning Wand. Hits deal bonus damage equal to 5% of the enemy's max stagger over 2.5 seconds, healing the user for the same amount. So it's kind of like a mini Stinger Awakening that also heals you. Gonna require some more testing to see if it's better than the most popular options for all strikers at the moment. I do like that Odyssey has begun adding gear, and hopefully new Awakenings will also be coming soon. There's a change to Pummelers. 25% bonus knockback to staggered targets. Now grants 10% more knockback to all targets. A decent change. The fact that Pummelers only worked when the enemy stagger bar was depleted was kinda bad. Now maybe you could justify using them? I still don't think they'll be better than any of the other forward gear. Not even the new one. But we'll see. We also have another handful of bug fixes, but the single most important is they fixed the error that would cause players to fail to connect the games during the loading screen. Hooray! No more having to Alt F4 when you're infinitely stuck in loading screen. And that's the patch. Quite a lot more than in the last 2 patches. This was definitely a major content update, and hopefully we get these with consistency and with the same high quality as this one. Anyways, what do you guys think about this patch? Have you had a chance to try out Vice and Octavia? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next video.